The disturbing truth of the gnoses just got revealed, and it may also be hinting at Celestia's purpose for capturing the twins or the fate of one who was already captured, as well as the truth of the alleged war that took place in Celestia. So sit back and grab a snack because we have a lot to discuss. At the end of the 4.2 arc and quest, we got to speak to Nuvilet. During the conversation, we hear Child's master, Skirk, reveal a disturbing truth about the gnoses to Nuvilet.
It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
So, although the power within the gnoses were made using the seven dragon sovereigns' elemental authorities, the actual vessel was created using the remains of the third descender. But although this lore bomb was a major gift to us lore players, Genshin Star has even better gifts. Genshin Star is a fan-made online store with a wide assortment of Genshin Impact and Honkai merchandise to choose from. With the holidays approaching, Genshin Star has released Christmas Advent calendars. Each calendar comes with 24 numbered doors that have surprise gifts behind them. These calendars are a great way to get into the holiday spirit by yourself or with family and friends, but they're selling out fast. So don't miss out and get one while you can. You can also use my code, SYNCS, at checkout or use my link in the description to get a 10% discount. While supporting my channel, Genshin Star has also released new phone cases, some of which even glow in the dark. And if you place an order for over $50, you get free shipping. So, what are you waiting for? Take fate into your own hands and seize the sale. Thank you, Genshin Star, for sponsoring today's video. For currently unknown reasons, the third descender was highly compatible with the elements of Teyvat and could even enhance the power of the elements. This has significant foreshadowing for the traveler, but we'll circle back to this idea later in the video. On top of this already major reveal, Nuvilet's vision story details disproves widespread speculation about the war against heaven. The text reads as follows. Severely wounded in the Great War of Vengeance, the usurper had their functions ruined, and could no longer use their absolute authority to suppress the original order of this world. To continue to subdue and control the resentments and loathing of the world, the usurper and one who came after created the gnoses together. So it came to be that an order was made to be upheld, and thus did humans come to only possess these seven remembrances, and all fragments of the primordial were driven to devour each other. This essentially says that the primordial one was left hurt and weakened after the Dragon War. And since it says that all fragments of the primordial were driven to devour each other, I wonder if it means all the shades fought each other. If so, this would support the idea of the three moon sisters being three of the four shining shades of the primordial one because it said they all began fighting. I have more thoughts on this in the Truth of the War, which I will discuss at the end of the video, so stick around if you'd like to hear more. For now, I'd like to move on and discuss what this reveal means for the traveler. Back in 1.3, Ye Maiko hinted at something that we now know is literal, that the traveler is just as valuable as, and now even more valuable than a gnosis.
Is that not a good bargain, exchanging it for the one at the core of the plan? Judging by the results at least, I dare say I struck a good deal.
When you put it like that, Paimon has to agree. The traveler is worth more than a gnosis.
Ye Maiko gave Scaramouche the Electro Gnosis in exchange for the traveler's life. Although she says it was a good bargain, since the traveler was the core of their plan, Maiko knows the value of a gnosis and would only give it away if the traveler was at least equal in value. The traveler is also hinted to have similar properties to the third descender since both are compatible with elemental powers and can use them without a vision. The traveler's original power is also composed of the seven elements, which may suggest the third descender's original power was also composed of the seven elements. This compatibility raises many questions, since it sounds like only the traveler, and possibly the third descender, are alleged descenders with powers made up of the seven elements of Teyvat. Given the description of the wings of merciful, wrathful waters, it sounds like the first and possibly the second descender has elements that are non-native to Teyvat. When that first heart was removed, the envoy of Celestia, the leader upon whose shoulders lay the duty to create life, came to the great primeval sea, and there she created another heart. And though it was created by a ruler of humans, its substance and essence were all original matter from this world, entirely without outside elements. This compatibility is likely why the first and second who came had to use the corpse of the third descender for the gnoses, instead of absorbing the elemental power themselves like the travelers. So, what does this mean for the Traveler, and what role will they play later in Teyvat's storyline? Previously, I thought that Saritsa would merge all 7 gnoses to make the Traveler a light gnosis, which they would then use to ascend to godhood. But now that we know the Traveler is practically a walking and talking supreme light gnosis, they shouldn't need one to ascend. Rather than merging them to make a gnosis for the Traveler, I wonder if that Saritsa plans on reviving the 3rd Descender. After being revived, they may assist at Saritsa since they won't be bound to Teyvat's rules. It's also possible that Saritsa wishes to do something similar to Fokalers and will use the power of all the gnoses to completely topple all the thrones in Celestia, freeing the Archons and weakening the heavenly principles' control over Teyvat. But seeing that the Traveler has been going nation to nation while restoring their power and gaining fans, I have no doubt they'll be a target on Celestia's list. So, if Ascension truly is a lie, the Traveler may get captured and deconstructed by Celestia after they ascend to the seat of God. This may also be why Paimon got caught in a strange whirlpool, allowing her to get fished up by the Traveler. Although Paimon is probably unaware of it, she may simply be getting used to monitor the Traveler and track their progress. In short, the Traveler is a walking gnosis, and the 3rd Descender was used as the basis for the gnoses. But this still leaves the question of who the 3rd Descender may be. As of now, I've come up with 3 possible candidates. Firstly, the Traveler from afar. According to legends, the very first ancestor Seelie married an Outlander. But the Seelies were cursed to never fall in love, so shortly after their marriage, a calamity befell and eventually caught up to the ancestor Seelie and the Outlander. As punishment, the ancestor Seelie and the Outlander were separated and had their memories removed. But although we're told the ancestor Seelie was so heartbroken that she withered into the wisps we see today, we're never told what happened to the Outlander. So perhaps the Outlander was killed and then had their corpse used to create the gnoses. And if you subtract the marriage and all, the Traveler and Paimon may be mirroring these events, which is why Paimon got fearful while thinking of the similarities shared between the Traveler and the 3rd Descender. If not the Traveler from afar, the 3rd Descender may be the sinner. The sinner we encountered during the Caribid Arcan quest could somehow see the Traveler in their siblings' memories and claims he will be around for the end of time. He is also abyssaline and motivates them to rise beyond the fate bestowed to them, so perhaps he was a victim of Celestia. After being deconstructed, his spirit may have been the only thing left behind, which is why he spoke from a chain crystal rather than a physical body. And if neither of those are correct, it may be the Abyss sibling. The gnoses were made sometime before the Arcan War, which, to my understanding, took place at least 2,000 years ago. Ken Raya was established before the Arcan War, meaning the twins could have descended there before the creation of the gnoses. After all, we've never actually been told when the twins descended. All we know is that the Traveler was awoken by their sibling during the cataclysm around 500 years ago so they could try to leave. So who knows? The Traveler may have just been asleep for thousands of years. During that time, the Abyss sibling may have died and had their corpse used for the gnoses. This may also be why Celestia responded to the summoning. They wanted the Abyss sibling to enter so they could get rid of them and use their corpse. But remember that this is just heavy speculation until we get more information about the twins and their rival on Teyvat. And whoever the 3rd Descender is, I don't doubt they'll have some connection to the twins. Now that we've gone over the more reasonable ideas, I have one more outlandish speculation I'd like to share. Since we now know that the Second Who Came and Celestia had a collaboration, I can't help but wonder if the Second Who Came was never actually in a war against Celestia. We're led to believe that the Second Who Came went to Teyvat with the intention of defeating Celestia and gaining control of Teyvat, but we've never actually been told the Second Who Came fought against Celestia. According to Before Sun and Moon, war was rekindled when the second throne of the heavens came to Teyvat. And as the goddess of flowers stated in the Amethyst Crown description, the invaders brought war and plagues. But although war and destruction may have been a byproduct of their entry, they may not have caused it. What if it wasn't the Second Who Came that fought Celestia, but rather Absol powers that made it through the firmament by using the Second Who Came's point of entry? For example, if someone were to break a window to enter a building, it'd leave behind a path for others to enter through. When the Second Who Came entered Teyvat, they may have left a hole in the firmament. The Abyss, which is what I believe lies outside of the firmament, then used that hole to invade Teyvat and try to take over. This would explain why the Abyss Order uses Absol power in their attempts to go against Celestia. Suppose that at least the Second Who Came are Absol and his partners with Celestia, In that case, the Abyss Order would be trying to fight the Abyss using the Abyss. Although this was a significant lore bomb, it leaves behind many questions. Did Celestia kill the third Descender? Why could the third Descender house the elemental authorities? And why did Celestia come to an agreement with the second who came after the destruction they presumably caused? And despite this major reveal, the Traveler's character story 3 is still locked. Let's just say the next Dane Sleeve quest will be very interesting. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and or subscribing. I hope you all have a great rest of your days, evenings, and nights. See you in the graveyard.